independent, though I'm all about my businesses. I consistently continue to bring energy and know that keep it popping like I'm full of electricity. Try to hold me out, I wish you would have the audacity. Take a rap laxative, now I'm shitting on the industry. Self-made, not a title, cause it's my identity. And wear it on my skin like it's a part of my ethnicity. Mary keep on blowing like instruments in the symphony. That keep a player buzzing like Twitter when you mention me. Being 100's a everyday living tendency. And ain't faced by hating, it makes me increase my intensity.
YouTube world, what is good? What is popping, everybody? How's everybody getting down here on this Thursday evening? What is good, everybody? Y'all know where y'all tuned into is DFW Sports Raps. It's the one-man force, the eyes and flavor of DFW Sports. Been a little bit up under the weather household and got a little something, got a little bug that flew around here. But at the same time, it's been frigid temperatures down here in the DFW area. But nonetheless, your boy still holds it down for DFW Sports. Just being a super fan from the DFW land. That's all I can be, and that's all I am, and that's how we represent coming here on this channel all day, every day, coming through, getting it in, man. Took a little bit of break as it's about to be a lot of sports continue to going on here down in the DFW for damn show. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit that notification chime for your boy one time. We trying to hit that 3K mark. So all my people that represent for DFW Sports, man, lock in, tune in. Let's get some things going, man. Today's live is going to be mostly about the Cowboys. Looking over their coaching staff. We did have some breaking news about Zach Martin, but just a brief detail before I get into some content about the Cowboys. It's just been a lot of things that's going on. The story, the never-ending story down here in Dallas-Fort Worth is basically about, the aftermath of this Luka Doncic trade, and that is something that's going to always keep being talked about as long as we're, attached and, really obsessed with it. It's going to be a main topic that goes on. Now, I'm not here to say what Luka is and not doing over at LA because I'm not a Laker fan. I'm not trying to pay attention to the purple and gold. That's just me. To that matter of fact, I'm not trying to pay attention to none of the other teams in the association unless it's the Dallas Mavericks. So, but you look at the Dallas Mavericks, they were able to come and get some news today. Derek Lively is out of the boot, so that's something that's good. Anthony Davis looks like he's going to miss the surgery. So it looks like he doesn't need season-ending surgery going into that. That's a positive. He looks to get reevaluated here in the next couple of weeks, which I had a good, strong feeling. Basically, the Mavericks were going to have to make this push going into mid of March, about around that 16th, about around that March 15, 16 range to see if they can close on strong. They'll have a lot of Eastern teams after that to compete against. So it's a lot of things that's going on for the Mavericks, but PJ Washington, his availability for tomorrow's game against the Pelicans has been upgraded to questionable. So that's a good thing. Dwight Powell, I think he's still going to be missing some time. As you know, the Mavericks have signed a 10-day contract with Moses Brown, bringing him back around, which I liked Moses Brown when we first had him. I didn't really understand why we gave him up, but this could be a good piece for us to try to hold. We got to have bigger bodies. That's the main thing that's going on for the Dallas Mavericks. They're just banged up and they're just way too small right now. But, I look forward for them coming off this break, coming out, trying to keep that momentum that they had. They could have literally went into the All-Star break with 5 straight victories, but that's something that didn't happen. It sucks. But outside of that, it's all about health with the Mavericks. And can the Mavericks keep showing resolve like they've been doing? And that's basically, can they just keep on keeping on? Can they keep on doing that? You got news. It's about to be soccer time around here. They about to play some other football as FC Dallas gets ready to kick off the season. Your boy pay attention to some of the soccer as well. Not as much as I should be, but FC Dallas is getting ready to shoot some things up in here. Basically, they are in full transition mode, but I like where they're going. They winning acquired some big time guys. So uh the signing of Luciano Acosta, that was a big signing for them right there. The new head coach, Eric Quill, he's wanting to basically play you know, a fearless type of mentality out here on the soccer field. He's wanting them to attack, no more lateralness. Let's not trying to find a perfect play. Instead, let's go make something happen type mentality he's bringing to FC Dallas. So it's a whole new change that they got going on. Their season starts this weekend in Houston, matter of fact. So, got a lot of things going on here in DFW. That part. What else you got? You got the Four Nations game still going on right now. You got a good couple of Dallas Stars in there. Some on the opposite end on Canada as well. That's contributing. But, the Stars will get ready to come back from the break, and they'll get ready to get back in the NHL swing Saturday on the road. So you got that going. Of course, you got the Texas Rangers opening up spring training tomorrow. Yes, sir. It's a lot of things rolling down here in the DFW sports. And like I said, I've been a little bit under the weather, as you can kind of tell from my voice kind of cracking and all that type of stuff. Man, but we're trying to shake back and get into some more gear. I was thoroughly thinking about going to that game tomorrow night, but with a brother kind of, getting over the illness and all that type of stuff, and it's still gonna be cold tomorrow. It's like, nah, don't even do yourself like that, bro. Let's let yourself fully heal. So that's exactly what I'm trying to come in and do. But tomorrow we're most likely gonna have a whole game night for the Dallas Mavericks. That tip off against the Pelicans down here is at 8:30. So we're looking at 8:30. We're gonna go ahead and get the whole game. Normally I bring y'all the half or the fourth quarter, but we're gonna go ahead and bring y'all the whole game of some content of the Dallas Mavericks as we welcome them back from the NBA All-Star break. But man, big news coming out of Dallas Cowboy country out there in Frisco headquarters. Zach Martin calls it a quit. Zach Martin calls it a quit. Hangs it up, man. If you've been watching the live when we talked a lot of Cowboys, during the football season, I've been saying here, a lot of people didn't really agree. Why would you keep going after offensive lineman with your first pick? But I told you, sooner or later, you're going to have to replace Zach Martin. When he started flirting that R word out, the retirement word, when he started uttering those words, it's always said, if you're thinking about retiring, you're retired. And Zach Martin gave it all he could, but y'all knew clearly from this 2024 season, it was a season that wasn't a Zach Martin that we knew. And he was clearly not healthy. Maybe you're not healthy. Maybe your heart is not all the way in, especially you not being healthy. That's just that's how you get more hurt. You know what I'm saying? But, he done put in a lot of work he could easily be first, second ballot Hall of Famer. Easily the type of work he done put in. Big salute to you, Zach Martin. Appreciate you for coming in and doing some things, handling your business on and off the field with utmost professionalism. It ain't going to be too many more like you, but I said from the jump, you're going to have to figure out a way how to basically replenish this offensive line because you're going to have to replace Zach Martin. I thought maybe he could give it one more year, knowing it was kind of a bad year, but with to be honest, I told you this is not a 1-year fix. It's hard to put your body through the rigors like that as older you get, and knowing that you only got a year or two left and you're probably going to spend those year or two in a rebuilding stage. Who would want to come back to that? Who would want to do that? Who would want to do that? Dallas Street Crooks, what's good? What it do? Appreciate you for tuning in. What's good with you? What's good with you? Your listeners up in the house. What's good? Talking some DFW sports. You know how we get down? I had to just break down what's everything's going down in DFW sports. There's going to be a lot coming here with baseball season in fact. It's going to be a lot of talk coming up in here. Daniel, what's good? Yo, what's good? Hey, big happy birthday. Happy birthday, my fella. Hold on. He said they gonna party like it's your birthday. They gonna sip a cardi like it's your birthday. And we don't give up because that's your birthday. Nah, big shout out to you. Happy birthday, man. Enjoy it, celebrate, do it the responsible way, kick it with people that you love, and hug them tight, man. And you know, enjoy your flowers. Give yourself your flowers if nobody else gives them to you. So that's my best thing I can tell you right there. But appreciate you for stopping by on your birthday. Big salute to you. Enjoy it. I hope you get to see many, many, many more. Many, many more. For sure. We rocks with Dallas sports at all times. Appreciate you at all times. We rock. And like I said, I'm not going to be the one who break news. I'm not an expert. I'm a fan just like the rest of y'all, man. We just some super fans. And we don't, as mad as we get with these organizations that we love, that we root hard with a passion for, we don't switch up. We don't switch up. We never surrender. We never retreat. We don't quit. We don't quit. We don't quit. That's why in this city we're kind of hated like that. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Two Guns, what's good? What's good, Two Guns? What's good? Hey, man, like I said, I'm just now getting over the sickness. I'm just now trying to get back into the flow of the things, but I will get with you soon on what we got cooking up here. We're going to have some new looks coming here to the show here real soon. But if you haven't already, check out my guy, Mikey Two Guns. Check out his channel, Our Bleeping City, on YouTube. Give it a like. Hit that subscribe notification bell. He goes up on all Boston sports. Man, his graphics are fire too. What we doing here for Dallas Fort Worth sports, he doing the same thing for Boston. So if you got any, if you like the Celtics, the Bruins, the Red Sox, or the Patriots like that, man, check my guy up for some content for sure. Johnny Woods, what's good? What is good? Appreciate you for spreading the word. Appreciate you for tuning in. Tuning in right here. Big Mike, what's good? What is good? Hey, Big Mike also does a lot of big basketball content, man, and he's big on the Mavericks and he's big on the Mustangs as well, the SMU Ponies. So if you haven't, check him out. Switch for Real Basketball. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. My man Go Down on Sports. Him and his crew got everything locked right there for sure. He said, I'm just getting over the flu bug. Bruh, like, this shit here is going everywhere, bruh. Like, daughter started going to daycare. The weather was, for me, I think it got me when I went to, what was the last game I went? Damn, I done went to so many games, bruh. I be forgetting what games I done went to. The last game I went to was the, shoot, y'all. I mean, my brain fried. The Miami Heat. There we go. I had to look on the YouTube page to figure out which one. That day, bro, it was like literally like 70. It was like 75, 80 degrees out there, bro. Like real talk. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that game. It was actually the Houston game. The Houston game, that weekend, it was like 85 degrees. And by nighttime, it got like low 50s. And ever since then, we done had days where we in the teens, wind chill to 0 negative degrees. That ain't normal here in Texas. And what did Ply say? That ain't normal. This ain't normal. 2 degrees, negative 2 degrees in the morning. This ain't normal. Hell no. Hell to the now. I feel you, man. Everybody get well, man. Take care of yourself for sure. Anytime, Big Mike. Anytime. But back to the Cowboys content, and we're going to be looking at over a few of the coaches and see what they done said about basically what they plan on implementing coming here for the Dallas Cowboys. But jumping back on Zach Martin, I told y'all, bro, it's about to be time. You better have a contingency plan getting ready to replace him because he might not be here that long. And that's why I kept saying you might want to take the best quality offensive lineman. Although I'm not against the best defensive lineman you can take, and I'm not against taking Ashton Jeanty. To me, he would be my third choice if I had to pick between the offensive lineman, defensive lineman, and then him. He would be my third choice, and then the receiver would be my fourth at the first pick, at the number 12 spot for your first pick. Will McClay got to make this hit. But Zach Martin, how much confidence do you have in the interior offensive lineman that you do have? Is the question the Cowboys are going to have to raise. Now, with him retiring, you get a salary to kind of, get eaten by the wayside right there. As the NFL has increased the salary cap, I don't know how much more difference that is. If the salary cap goes up, that means the players are just going to keep getting paid more money. That's all that is. So you're probably hoping that the Cowboys can do a lot of restructuring here coming soon, but I don't know, man. Zach Martin is going to be different. You see a whole new offensive line, and you're going to have to rebuild a whole new offensive line to basically take Dak into the end of his Cowboys career. And if you want to have another quarterback come in and do something right, you're going to have the offensive line right. So this is your chance to really build that right here, right now. Now, what the Philadelphia Eagles did, I wouldn't be surprised if you wanted to see better defense. As you know, we do got the different coaching staffs coming in. It's basically a whole new coaching staff. Matt Eberflus, who used to be Cowboys defensive coordinator or linebackers coach for a good period of time under Rob Marinelli, he's now taking over the helm as defensive coordinator. As we know his blunder Thanksgiving Day, his final blunder as a Chicago Bears head coach. That blunder he had in that game, look, we don't trust him with no game situations, but what is his idea for what he plans to do with the Cowboys?
What did you learn from being a head coach and now coming back as a DC?
Yeah, I think when you go through experiences, when I first became a coordinator at the Colts and then becoming the head coach of the Chicago Bears, I think you learn a lot, right? You want to learn and grow from every experience and impart that wisdom onto the next crew, and that's what we're going to do here. So it's you learn a bunch of things that are different and things that you grow from, and it's important to do that.
When you in your first stint, you had some weapons, obviously, as linebackers, coach, and passing coordinator. But coming back, you got a Michael Parsons. So, how do you, from your vantage point, how do you plan, without giving too much away, to kind of utilize his ability to both play off ball but also rush the pass rusher?
Yeah, Mike is a premier pass rusher. We're going to use him that way, certainly, and he's a heck of an athlete and do a lot of different things for us on defense. And when you have a guy like that, you want to be able to utilize his skill set. And as we're around him more, we'll be able to see what that skill set is and really take advantage of that.
So he straight up said, look, Michael, you rushing the passer. When you don't have that many linebackers, I still would like to be multiple with Michael Parsons. I think him blitzing up the middle is really a sign of what is giving a lot of offenses headaches. But you compare him if you can stay healthy at the end spot or pair him with another defensive end, we don't know. But he won Michael Parsons rushing the passer.
You guys live in the reality of what can happen to coaches. How do you sort of pick yourself up mentally after what happened and sort of get back on the horse?
Yeah, I'm just grateful for the opportunity, really, just to work with this crew. I want to really thank the Jones family for bringing me on as a defensive coordinator and Brian Schottenheimer. Really excited about the opportunity to do that. And going forward, just really attacking this job and working with the players to have an attacking defense.
As a former
the attacking defense. That sounds like some Rob Marinelli type stuff. We just gonna have some rush men. We're gonna play fast and relentless and just hustle to the ball type stuff.
G10 Sports, what entices you about coaching with the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, I was here 7 years before, so I know the family well. I know the community. I know the fan base, and it's exciting to be back. And that's what excites me the most, the fan base, the players that we get to work with, and working with the Jones family and Brian. So excited.
As a former head coach, how do you help Brian, as a first-year head coach?
Yeah, and again, the first couple of meetings I had with him, I said, I'm here for you. I want to really just do a good job of bouncing ideas off of me, experiences that I had, and just working together, to be able to utilize me because I do have the experience of being a head coach for him and to make his job easier.
How fun was it for you to bring some of your guys from Chicago and Indy with you here?
Yeah, I wanted to really have just a clear view of when I did the interview process with Brian Schottenheimer to be able to look and see at the defensive staff. And we brought some guys here, but we got some new faces too. I always believe that having new ideas in your staff every single year is important to be able to do that. And we're changing and adjusting our scheme every single year, and it has to grow every single year to really be in front of the league, so to speak. But also to really utilize your skill sets of the players you have currently on your roster.
Getting back to Mike, how many conversations have you had with him already? And certainly this is his third defensive coordinator, I think, or maybe fourth out since he's been in the league. You know, obviously different systems, and have you impressed him on the importance of using him to the best of his ability and moving him around like done in the past, or what's the focus there?
Yeah, I really can't talk much football at this time of year with the guys. Just talk with him more personally what he was doing. I think he was at Disney with his kids at the time, but he knows that we'll adjust and make him in the best light that he can be in terms of position, in terms of pass rush, and really utilizing what he does best, and that's rushing the passer.
So it just sounds like Matt Eberflus is like, bro, I like what Michael Parsons can do rushing the passer. And that's kind of where he's only focused with. But I mean, you have to give Matt Eberflus his kind of credit for right now, just because I mean, not even credit, it's just you don't even know what all type of pieces you're going to be working with. And if he doesn't, and if Michael Parsons don't have a deal, is he going to hold out? Now, you've been saying he not, but we know how NFL players can get.
Do you have any after action from your time in Chicago of what happened and what went wrong from between then and now when you got hired here?
Yeah, you always do that. I do that every single year, reflecting of what you could do better on everything, and it's important that you do that. You look at what we did well and what you could improve, and not only from last year, but even from the beginning. How you hired your initial staff, from A to Z, really from that. So it's always growing and improving every single year.
What do you think you learned in that couple months between jobs?
I just really relish the opportunity, that we had, and also what's in the future. And looking at what really could happen in the future, and what this team can be now that I'm with the Dallas Cowboys, and the vision we have for them, and really what they can be. And that's what excites me the most.
What concept or philosophy would you say is like the hallmark of the defensive philosophy that you have?
Yeah, pretty simple. We take the ball away. That's what we do.
Takeaway. Something that the Cowboys have been real good at. It was real good under Dan Quinn, because once Dan Quinn got here, all of a sudden the takeaways just, Diggs had his, interception spree. Then you follow that, with the next year, the defense just kept creating turnovers, and then Bland had his turn, and that's something that they've been able to do. Now, he's talking about taking away the football. That's something that the Cowboys still, when it seemed like Mike Zimmer was playing the type of defense that he wanted to, seemed like they started getting more takeaways. But that's something that really hurt the Cowboys last year.
We stopped the run, and we want to make exciting plays for our football team, and that's really what we do.
Matt, Louis Scruggs from NBC5. Looking at what Philadelphia did in the Super Bowl, they were able to get up there with their core. How do you get your defensive line to that kind of championship level where you can win the division again?
Yeah, that's really about getting the depth there that we need. I know that we've had some free agents leave us over the last couple of years, but they're really some good pieces
you're going to have some more,
to work from. So it's exciting to be able to look at that in the future in terms of draft and acquiring other players that are at special talent guys, and we're excited to get that done.
Matt, I know it's only been a few weeks, but what's been your impression of Shotty as a head coach so far?
Just the enthusiasm, the buy-in that he has, the conviction, the energy that he brings to everybody every single day. So I'm excited about that.
And this has been a coaching staff that has had a lot of new additions to it, and it's a lot of first-year guys in the NFL, basically. I don't want to say in the NFL, but they haven't been in the NFL that long, and there's been a lot of college coaches that have been added to it as well. But will that help? Are they really instilling the culture that they say.
You brought up stop and run. You know, it's been a bugaboo around here for a long time. How do you
Definition of bugaboo.
It's been a problem.
Okay.
They haven't been able to get it done. How do you get this team to finally stop the run? I mean,
Yeah, it's really about fundamentals. It's about fundamentals, playing your technique, and obviously the better players you have, the better they are. So it's important to have that too. But it's about guys being in the right spot and being where they're supposed to be, with the demeanor, that they need to have. So, we've had some good run defenses in the past here. When I was back with Marinelli, I know we had a few years where we were really good. So we're excited about getting that back.
Tell me more about the scheme.
Talking about getting that back. Trying to stop the run. Big shout out to DallasCowboys.com. That's something that they got to do, and they just got to get more physical up front in their defensive tackles. And somehow they got to generate the pass rush with those guys. Now, what you got with Mozzie Smith didn't work. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. But now they're going to ask him, what is it the scheme is really going to be like?
Scheme, or is about the type of personnel that you need?
It's both. It's always both. You can run the same scheme with really good players and it works really well, and run the same scheme with other guys and it's not as good. But this is a player's game, so the talent level does matter. But I do believe we can be where we're supposed to be and have really good fundamentals to really help enhance the run game.
you brought up Marinelli's scheme, and I know you have Mike on the edge, but how important is having a difference maker in the middle, a defensive tackle in the middle to make this thing go?
Yeah, to have pieces along the line, I think, is very important. And the more you have, the better. And you can see that with a couple people in our division. It's important that you have that. The more dominant players, you can't just look and see, and pick on a certain guy in terms of in the run or the pass protection. So it's good to have at least two guys, maybe three guys opposite each other.
In the time since you were last in Dallas, what would you say you've maybe changed the most philosophically, or anything that you believe differently now?
Just really changing, molding the scheme based on the players' skill sets, based on what you have. I really believe we have two really good corners here.
So he's talking about Diggs and Bland. You should have said three because Jordan Lewis is pretty good.
Excited about working with those guys. Our safeties are really good players. So we have some cool pieces in the back end. So I'm excited to work with those guys.
When you hear those two compared to Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson in Chicago,
yeah, I believe the guys we have here are the two best in the league. They really are. They're top notch, top five for sure. Excited to work with those guys. They got length. They have speed. They have really good coverage ability. It all starts with being able to play man coverage, I believe. Be able to match guys up and stay with your man, and then work our zones from there.
when you were here the first time,
Go ahead.
when you were here the first time, it was clearly on at least a defensive coordinator track. What's it like to be back in that role?
Yeah, I've always loved putting the game plans together, working with the players, calling the game. On game day, that's always been something that I've loved to do. Going against the great offensive coordinators in this league.
So another defensive coordinator that's going to be hands-on, and he might not have the hat to the back, but it's going to be interesting to see if he be on the field or in the booth.
That's something that's fun for me, and our staff putting those game plans together. So I'm just excited about it.
Matt, in addition to the two corners that you mentioned and Mike, Stephen Jones last month said Mozzie Smith was someone that came up in your assessment of the defense. What are your plans for him to unlock his full potential?
Yeah, I'm excited about Mozzie. I liked him coming out. Real explosive athlete, big body type.
So are you saying you're going to be the one to get the most up out of Mozzie? Is that what you're saying?
That can move really well. So we're excited about bringing his games to the next level. And he can certainly do that.
Some coaches have kind of taken a little sabbatical, like Vrabel, or Mike Zimmer before he got here. Why did you want to get right back on the horse?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was mainly my wife. She wanted me to go to work. No, and I did too. I was excited about it after a couple of days, a couple of weeks after taking that break, and I was excited to get back on it. And had several phone calls from a bunch of different people, and I was excited about looking at different opportunities. And this was the best opportunity that I felt was really cool for me to come back to Dallas. I have a lot of familiar faces here, starting from the top all the way to everybody in the building.
Now, before everybody think, is this another situation where if Schottenheimer don't work. This is the new coach coming in. We got to understand Jerry don't have that much longer. So let's not get into the conspiracy theories before it even start, y'all.
Cherish my time here in Dallas, and I'm excited about being back.
You
Chris
talked about
Scales, Cowboys Radio. With your previous relationship with Will McClay, do you think that kind of gives you maybe a head start, or you guys already have an understanding of what you're looking for?
Yeah, for sure. Will McClay has done an awesome job here acquiring talent with the Jones family, and excited to get back with him. He knows what we're looking for, but again, we're not taking that for granted. We want to get back together and making sure we've been gone. I've been gone 7 years now, so how has he enhanced? How have we enhanced in terms of looking at players in our scheme? And that's going to be a really fun challenge for him and I to get on the same page again. And we're already started that process.
We're going to finish with Clarence right here.
where you are in the free agent process and how much is retaining Osa key to what you guys want to do going forward?
Yeah, not going to comment about the free agents, but certainly Osa is a guy that we like a lot, and he's a really good player for us.
Do you think Cat Boy is going to give him a lot for him to continue to play for us?
And but we'll look at other guys too, and but we're in the middle of that process right now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Welcome back.
So Matt Eberflus, his time he spent in Chicago, we know how it ended. We know how that went. It wasn't too good, but hey, nonetheless, whatever happened, it happened. Whatever happened, it happened. But, a lot of people want to make deal about Ken Dorsey.
Ken, what do you
About
do
Ken
to
Dorsey
bring
being
Dallas
put on,
with your pass
being the pass
coordinator
game
and becoming a
coordinator?
spot for you?
I think anytime you come into a new situation and a new group of coaches and a staff that Shai's done a great job putting together, you just try to bring your past experiences, your value, another set of eyes within the realm of what we want to do systematically. And I think Shai's laid that out.
And this might be a group that could be good enough just to relate to Dak Prescott more than anything. I mean, you got Schottenheimer being a former college quarterback itself, being a coach's son. Of course, we got our man Ken Dorsey right here from the University of Miami, champion, all that type stuff. So you probably gonna have some guys that can probably relate a little bit more closer to Dak Prescott, but
very
$60 million
clearly to everybody.
relate.
And that's what I'm excited about. There's a very clear direction, a very clear vision. There's no it's
You keep hearing people talking about the clear direction. Everybody sounding like they're on one accord. Now, what happens when the Cap Boys go up in there and they don't do no moving? Are y'all still gonna be on one accord then?
black and white. There's no gray. And when you have that as a coach, it's very easy for you to say, okay, here's how I can help.
Can you elaborate on that direction, vision that Shotty has for this offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you talked about early on, we're going to be a team that's going to run the football and be able to utilize that as a strength for us, and then utilize our guys and be able to adjust our system based off of our guys' strengths. And I think that's very important in offensive football, because in the age of free agency, draft, and everything, you don't want to pass up on good players that can help you win. Because he doesn't fit this or that. If we can adjust and bring in, and utilize the players we have and utilize them in that way. And then whenever,
of course, all of them is talking a good game right now. That's all they doing is just can talk a good game, because still they don't know what their roster is, but besides the few players that they already got, that's like heavily contractually combined.
we add those pieces to be able to utilize and maximize them.
Coach, I'm sorry, Calvin Watkins.
No, yeah, good.
How do you evaluate quarterbacks who might not want to work out the combine and say, well, the tape is how much do you look into that?
I think that's a great question. Nowadays, fortunately, you get to see these guys make a lot of throws, and whenever you can work them out individually, one-on-one and whatnot, to be able to see them make the throws within your system, and maybe some of the different throws they didn't make in college is very valuable. But yeah, for the guys that work out on the combine, a lot of times they'll do a pro day, they'll do individual workouts and things like that. And those are just as invaluable, because you get to see a wide variety of different throws, short, intermediate, downfield, everything like that. And a lot of times at those pro days, you can request some throws and things like that at the end, if
Everything
there's
is
something you want to see, and that's valuable as well. But yeah, the film obviously is huge, and hopefully you could get as much off of that as possible. But whenever you could get your hands on, that's obviously a big thing.
Skyler Dixon with the Associated
Hey,
Press. You've got some experience with at the higher levels of coaching staffs. How has that experience shaped you, and how does that experience help you here? How does that help you with the staff?
You learn a lot, and you learn with every experience, and I've been very fortunate to be.
Which this coaching staff, as you like I said, for some of the people, they have their experience, and then some of them are coming into new charted territory.
In some of those positions where, putting together the offense, or coming in and making some tweaks to a already existing offense, and those types of things. So I think that helps me in terms of just some of those big picture things to, I'm not locked into one specific, hey, it's got to be this way, or it's got to be that way. Been fortunate to be in some different systems and things like that to be able to kind of adjust the thought process in terms of what we're doing and what we could do well, and how to attack a defense to help us win games.
Coaching is a tough business. Guys bounce around.
Yeah.
Why do you think you work out the last two jobs?
I think those are unfortunately just kind of the way it goes sometimes, and obviously last year just didn't win enough games, and that's the way it is.
Didn't throw nobody under the bus. I don't want to say took accountability, but
I think we were able to do a lot of good things, and kind of bring some things to the table in the pass game and things like that. But at the end of the day, we gotta be able to win football games, and when you don't, then there's always those possibilities, things happening.
And it'll be the same thing here.
And it's a tough business, and sometimes I always equate it like this. And in life, you're gonna get knocked down. You're going to get punched in the gut. It's how you get back up and keep swinging, keep fighting. And that's the approach I always want to take, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever happened.
Being on, obviously you were in Cleveland last year, Buffalo before, and other places, but what did you know about the Cowboys? What were your perception of the Cowboys before?
I can answer this for you, Clarence. Well, first of all, he saw that defense week 1. Well, he did have Deshaun Watson. They had a lot of quarterbacks going over there in Cleveland. That's kind of not a fair experience. But if you wanted a coach that's been in some turmoil and some stuff like that, you probably got the right kind of coach right there. Even that Matt Eberflus. You got a good couple of coaches where they didn't have to deal with the circus around them and just the flame out. So you kind of get some dudes who are already pressurized.
You see now.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think outside looking in, obviously you see, the roster that's put together and the playmakers that we have, obviously Dak and the line and just some of the physicality that we have up front and those types of things. So you see a lot of those tools and a lot of those, different playmakers and things like that, and how the system and things have evolved over time, and just the players that have brought in. Because I think, everybody here has done a great job of filling back in the holes of rosters when you do lose those important pieces, which happens over time. So I think it's an exciting group from the outside looking in. And I think that's why it's such an appealing job. And then obviously, it being one of the most premier franchises in the league, to be able to coach here and coach in the stadium and coach in the facility with walking in the footsteps.
Yada, 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 yada. That ain't did nothing in the last 29, 30 years.
So some of the great people have been here. That's very exciting.
I got up here a little bit late.
No worries.
If
Yeah.
You just had to describe kind of what your job title is and
Yeah.
like what your job will be this year. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm helping out with the offense, obviously in general, and I'll be able to kind of go where needed in terms of helping out position groups and things like that. So it's something that I'm going to be able to help a lot with. Tying the pass game with the run game and just some of the pass concepts and things like that. But it's I think more of a big picture role more so than a specific, one lane type deal.
Did you have a partnership with Shotty at all? Or?
So he sound like just the offensive. He's like a co-coordinator or something like that. They got him labeled as the pass game specialist, pass game coordinator, but way he sound like he's going to be everywhere on the offense. Again, this is a voice that I think Dak is going to be able to recognize. He's going to be a little bit more familiar with, probably with his time.
So we haven't worked together, but just known each other for a long time through coaching and a lot of times coaching the same position and that type of thing, a lot of mutual friends. So gotten to know Shai really well over the years, but haven't had the opportunity to coach together.
Did that come up as a topic throughout the interview process and like just your assessment or overview?
No, not during my process. Not a lot of conversations about specifics in that regard. Some of the, just kind of looking at some of the big picture things and that type of thing. And in the interview process was more, more what that was. Yeah.
One thing I can say, a lot of these dudes who are on the staff, they sound like they knew how to interview.
You coached Josh Allen in Buffalo a couple years ago. Now coming in and coaching Dak, kind of how do you see Dak Prescott as a player, given some of the other guys you've coached in the past?
I mean, obviously he's got a tremendous skill set. He can make all the throws, that you can ask for, whether it's short, intermediate, inside the numbers, outside the numbers, anticipating.
A lot of people disagree.
Having to drive it through a window, having to layer it over the top.
I'm not
he
one
can
of
make
them.
all those throws and has shown it. Obviously, he's got tremendous
A
experience.
lot of people disagree with that, but I'm not one of them. Now, I will say in the postseason, in the words of Jay-Z, damn, I see him in the clutch moments. I don't see none of that. Damn, homie, where the Hummer at?
League. And for a quarterback position, the more reps you get in the game, the more you're reacting instead of thinking. It's just it's a natural reaction. You could play faster and faster and faster. And hey, I'm seeing this concept. All right, I know it's this coverage, and I just kind of know this is where the ball's going to go. So I think there you see that evolution in his game, and he's being able to play so fast and make those good decisions. And I think that's going to be a key for us to continue to get him as comfortable as possible and utilize our weapons and let him continue to grow with his comfort.
Do they have a plan for Dak Prescott? I don't know how much of a plan you're going to have because you're just going to have to build a whole new offensive line going in through right there. What up, little CJ? What's good? Appreciate you for tuning in for sure. Man, they got a lot of things to plan in to really do. So it's a lot for them to do. I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. But is it something that they can overcome? I don't know. Let me see if I can get another one. What I'm thinking about. Who's the next coach I want to? Who is the next head coach y'all kind of want to? Not head coach, but who's the next coach that y'all would like to? What about Clayton Adams? Let's see what Clayton Adams is talking about. This is the guy that everybody really kind of likes right here, to be honest with you. Everybody likes him. What up, big bro? I see you up late. What's good, bro? Looking at over some of these coaches real quick, man, seeing what they said, all this type stuff. But this is the guy that a lot of people like right now.
Especially this first time, letting you know who you are and what platform.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's it. And Clayton, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com.
Nice to meet you.
Can you just talk about your decision to come join the Cowboys and, what you take away from your time with the Cardinals that you can use to kind of benefit your time here?
Sure. Obviously, for myself and being a background of an offensive line coach, the opportunity to be a coordinator and to sit in that chair was important to me and had been a goal, something that I wanted to do at some point. Obviously, I think being able to do it with the Dallas Cowboys is a huge, even bigger opportunity, great franchise. Speaking on, kind of what I've learned in my time in Arizona, we really had a great experience there. And the organization was outstanding to me and my family, the head coach, the players. I mean, I didn't get to be there when they got the thing completely turned, but I was excited about the direction that we were going. And I know that those guys will do a good job there.
Joe Hoyt, All City Dallas, and Arizona. You had James Conner, some linemen coming back here. There's a lot of questions about the running back room. There's a lot of openness. We got a couple guys coming back. How much do you look at that as an opportunity in the run game to kind of find guys to maybe tailor fit what you're looking for?
I don't know that we've completely gotten that far yet. We're working hard to evaluate what we have here. And I think that there's a lot of nice pieces to work with, and we'll continue to go down that road as we work through player acquisition. And then obviously when we get our opportunity to get our hands on these guys and coach them a little bit, but probably a little bit too early to know that.
Leighton, Todd Archer with ESPN. What's your background with Brian Schottenheimer? And that now, are you kind of just learning what he wants, how it meshes what you've done in the past? Where are you guys in that process of scheme-wise?
Yeah, that's exactly where we're at, is just trying to mesh what the vision of what he wants is, because he's going to call the plays. And so I think it would be dumb on my part to try to force a lot of things on that call sheet that he doesn't want to call or he doesn't feel comfortable calling. So I have not had a major background with him. I had talked football with him in the past. I had known him a little bit, but we're really excited. I'm very excited to work with him and just to continue to learn each other a little bit. And I think that that's always going to be a process of, we're all molded a little bit by our experiences. And so there's going to be, we're going to get out into some practices and talk through some things, and I'm going to see some things differently. He's going to see some things differently. And it's going to be a growing process. You get into games and you have to have those same type of experiences, both good and negative.
Clarence Hill, All City DLLS. You talk about your relationship with Riley and being with it, offensive line coach. How much will you be a part of the offensive line, or will you stay away from that?
I definitely won't stay away from that.
Sure.
I think that it's a little bit to be determined exactly how all those things are going to work, because I think, we need to get out and coach these guys a little bit. And we need to get past the point where we're just all trying to speak the same language, which is kind of where we're at right now. In regards to my involvement with the offensive line, is I want to have a great relationship with all these guys. And I really want to build genuine relationships so that they know that I'm here to help them play the best football of their careers, and that, they know that we're going to have a very clear and communicated standard for what we expect from them. For me, that's going to start in the offensive line room. And I'm very excited about developing a relationship with those guys. But also, like I said, I need to have that same relationship with Dak. I need to have that same relationship with CD. So my time's going to be spread a little bit more in that way, but it's going to start in the offensive line room. Connor I've actually known him a long time. He and I have never worked together. We've talked football many times, spent, for guys that have never worked together, probably a fair amount of time together. And then I always think this is, you can assess offensive lines or any position group really when you're evaluating what you think that a coach does, but nothing speaks like the tape. And one thing that I've always respected about Connor Riley over the years of just evaluating his players coming out in the draft and even.
Bruh, a lot of these coaches sound like, they're somewhat on a mission.
Just evaluating his scheme when I was coaching in college, the players play good, and he's had good players too. But that's your responsibility as a position coach, is what's on the tape. Are they doing it right? Are they playing violent? Are they finishing? Those are the things that you look for.
Are they playing violent? See the intensity? Violent. Man, sound like he got some things up in his cages. You know what I'm saying?
Watkins, Dallas Morning News. How much have you had a chance to talk to Dak or CD or any other veteran?
Yeah, I mean, I've reached out to them for sure. Obviously, they're in a situation, right now where they're not allowed to be around the building and doing football things. But every opportunity that I have, I do, and I've been really excited about the experience to be able to get to know those guys a little bit, and it's going to be even more awesome looking forward.
Hey, Clayton, with the Associated Press taking this job without the play calling component. Do you feel like it's something where you can kind of grow into this? Is play calling something you'd like to do down the road? And how do you view this as sort of your opportunity to kind of learn the ropes of being a coordinator?
That's a good question. I hadn't really thought of it from that perspective before. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to feel like down the road or any of those things to answer your question, but I am excited about the opportunity and the fit for what I think that this job is going to be, which, really is trying to figure out, at the end of the day, our job when we're putting things on the call sheet is to be problem solvers. And so we're trying to figure out, what do we do good and how do we make that look multiple? How do we make that look different? And so
I ain't gonna lie, when they got Clayton Adams, I was like, you know what, this could be probably one of your big hires right here. Like, able to get him to come to this circus. You see the intensity he coming out with.
That's the part that I'm really looking forward to focusing on. And I think it's also it's a leadership position within a great organization. So that's the part that I'm looking forward to the most. And the answer your question about down the road, I don't know yet.
Hey, Josh Tolentino, Lone Star Live. Jonathan Gannon was, formerly a first-time coordinator. He used that experience to, first-time head coach. What takeaways do you have from your time with him, and how was he supportive throughout this process?
It's a good question. It's really the first time that I had worked for somebody that I was close friends with before. We were assistant coaches together in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a prior relationship that.
So a lot of these coaches have, they crossed paths before.
Really transcended just being coworkers or
it seemed like Brian Schottenheimer brought some guys in that he said, look, I'm going to give you a chance to work with who you're comfortable working with. And if those guys are comfortable working with who they was, basically they're hiring who they're comfortable with, you might have a change in culture for a second.
Employee. I think that, one of the things that Jonathan does as good as anybody else is set the tone for the environment of serving the players. And I was very impressed with the way that he did that, of just ensuring that everything that we do is going to be about helping these guys play good.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. You coach Kyler Murray in Arizona. Now you have Dak Prescott at a different stage of his career. What are your thoughts on going from the two different types of quarterbacks and just your impressions of Dak Prescott, the player?
I think that it'd probably be hard for me to answer that question until you have a larger sample size to pull from. What I know about Dak, just in the short experience that I have so far, is that he's a great leader. He's humble. He's got a lot of charisma. And also, I think, somebody that is an unbelievable competitor. If you look at those qualities and compare them to Kyler, they have a lot of the same things there, a lot of the same positive qualities. And so I think what you're looking at is, we probably need be a little bit further down the road before I decide exactly, how you feel about a guy's physical qualities.
Which is honest.
Tyler, his thought process that his running ability was part of the success of your running game. Do you need a mobile quarterback like that to make your running game go? Whereas Dak in this point of his career doesn't run as much as Kyler?
That's an interesting question. I think that it certainly can help you when you have the ability, because if you are reading a run, essentially you're taking a digit off the board on defense. But I think if you were to look at, what we did over the course of the past 2 years, probably 70% of it was under center stuff that was going to be handed off. But yeah, and I think anytime you have the ability back there to read with that guy, it's a bonus for you. In regards to how often you need to do it, I think that, the necessity for that really shows up when you're looking at like really low, tight red zone plays, or
got to be able to make things happen on the fly and be able to improvise. And if your quarterback can't do it, you better have a strong running game that can.
Or a gotta have it game on the line type thing. And I think that most quarterbacks end up in that position at some point. If they're somewhat athletic, you got to be kind of picky and choosy about when you're doing it.
Bobby Belt from
What do you want in your offensive line?
Clayton Adams.
The same thing that I want from every player on offense, and that is to create violence in the game, be aggressive, run.
Violence. My man is very intense, I see. Very intense.
Hit. I think that every decision that we make schematically needs to lean that direction. So if there's gray area, what is going to allow these guys to play more free and run and hit and be violent?
Bobby Belt from 105 Through the Fan. In regards to the offensive line, what's your thought on cross-training guys across position versus just having them focus on one spot?
I think that in the NFL, you have to do that. I also think that if you are a starter at a spot and you're a premium player at a spot, you're probably not going to play a whole bunch of different other positions. That, obviously there's a exception to every rule. But my general thought on it is, if you're not one of those starting five, you better be able to play as many spots as possible. And that's probably the plight of being a sixth or seventh guy in this league, is that you're not going to get super comfortable at one spot, but that's what's best for the team.
Clayton, Dave Lofberg, Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, father of Joe Willie Lofberg.
That's right. Yeah. I knew I recognized you.
You talk about establishing a relationship with the players.
Babe Laufenberg.
I know you have a relationship with some of the defensive coaches, but is it also establishing a relationship with the guys you're working now on offense since you hadn't had a familiarity?
100%. Yeah. And I think that there's I'll have friends outside of the business that'll ask me some of these questions, like, what do you guys do this time of year? Your guys' families are in other cities. And the answer to that is that's what we're doing right now. Is we're sitting in a room together for long periods of time throughout the day and figuring each other out a little bit. There's some laughing, there's some fun. There's also plenty of, sometimes you gotta talk through something that there's a disagreement on, and we're all living in a hotel. So there's, you spend a lot of time together and you really get to know each other. And that's, that's part of the fun of this business, in my opinion, is it's, you still get a little bit more locker room type feel on a coaching staff than you do probably working in other jobs. And I really enjoy that part.
Like I said, it sounds like a lot of these guys are familiar with each other. So hopefully there's nobody stepping on anybody's toes.
John Machado with The Athletic. Why do you think in your career that you've gotten to this point, like what do you think has really helped you to elevate yourself to where you're in the position you are right now?
I think first and foremost, you always have to say having good players, and those players trying to do everything that you ask them to at a really high level and believing in you. So that's the other, one part of it. I think the other part of it is being fortunate enough to be around leaders that can help you grow and help you improve at the things that you're not good at.
Who are the offensive line coaches that influenced you? Who are your mentors and guys that you learned from and took the most from?
Chris Strasser was a guy that I played for at Boise State, and then also I was his assistant in Indianapolis, and then I was the tight end coach when he was the offensive line coach in Indianapolis. So he's a guy that I spent a ton of time around. I was also fortunate toward the end of my career when I went to Indianapolis. Howard Mudd had come back as a senior analyst, and we only got to spend about 6 months together, but shoot, man, there's things that I think about every single day that, like, Howard said this and that was right, or I wonder what Howard would say now.
Clayton, obviously you guys have to settle up on the offensive line as far as personnel, who's going to be where, and you got to figure out the running back position. But just talk about the benefit of coming into a situation where you have Dak, CD, Jake Ferguson, impact players at three of the more important positions on offense already set.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about all three of those guys. And I think there's the list probably, I won't go into it, but I think the list probably even goes a little bit further than that for guys that you feel like are established and have chances to be premium players. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to let it unfold and look at it and say, how do we put these guys in position, an advantageous position as many times as we can within a game, and that's the challenge to me. And when you have good players, that's a little bit easier.
Sydney Staples, Digital Sports. How would you describe your coaching style? What makes you unique as a coach?
I think two things. Number one, I see myself as a teacher as much as anything else.
What you need.
I feel like two of my biggest passions in life are teaching and learning. And number two, I really, really try to think about in regards to how I communicate with the players on the field, in the meeting room, is controlled energy. And so I'm not going to have a lot of blowups, but it's going to be very focused beams of here's the problem, here's the solution, here's where we're going to try to get that done, rather than I'm not really a big blow up scream guy. But they got to feel the intensity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. You heard that. I like the intensity that you get from Clayton Adams, man. I really do. Matt Eberflus, it seems like, look, these dudes are wanting to prove something, along with Brian Schottenheimer. It sounds like you got a lot of coaches that got a chip on their shoulder, and that's always a good thing to have. That's something that breeds competition. If you have healthy competition within the coaching staff, hopefully, and not the jealousy and not somebody trying to step over somebody, and then you can backdoor that with the players. That's something that we would like to see. As you see the whole coaching staff that you got up in here. You know, you got Clayton Adams as the offensive coordinator, Junior Adams as the wide receivers coach. You see the offensive line coach, pass game specialist, and Ken Dorsey told you he's basically everywhere with the offense. He's going to be everywhere. You see Connor Riley, offensive line coach. That's a good, that's a hire that you're kind of going to go look at and see what can we produce there, because the offensive line, we always said, bro, is going to be the main key. If your offense and defensive line coaches are worth anything, then your team is going to be pretty good. Pretty good. Of course, you got London Wells. You got him, Taquan Underwood, as the assistant receivers coach. Defense, we already talked about Matt Eberflus. Brian Bing, assistant defensive line coach. J.J. Clark being the defense assistant quality control coach. Darian Thompson, you got there as the secondary nickels coach. David Overstreet as the secondary coach, taking over for our man Al Harris. A lot of us who got much love and respect for. Aaron Whitecotton, defensive line coach. Of course, we got Nick Sorensen as special teams coordinator coming from the Niners. And you keep your whole strength and conditioning staff. Now, I don't know how a lot of y'all feel about that, because a lot of people like the Cowboys stayed hurt. They stayed hurt. They need a new conditioning strength staff. But, hey, you didn't get too much right there. Man, I want to try to keep giving y'all better lives, man. Like I said, I'm just now trying to get up over this sickness, man. I'm pushing through it. Still been going to work all week, and it's been frigid out there. So it's been one of those things we've been just trying to gut it out. But I had to come and give y'all a little content coming in. And like I said, tomorrow we'll be doing the game with the Pelicans and the Mavs for damn sure. We'll get that tuned in. I'm thinking about doing the whole game because it's coming from the All-Star break. So we're going to do a whole game for the Mavs and the Pelicans tomorrow, as well as we'll go over the first game of spring training from the Rangers tomorrow as they finally bring it back to action. And when baseball comes back, that means the weather's changing. And we can use some weather change down here for real. The Rangers will start off against the Royals tomorrow, 2:05. We'll probably get the highlights from Victory Plus. We'll play those. Try to see if we can get off work a little bit early, and we'll try to get through those highlights before we get to the Mavs and Pelicans. So, man, I tried to gut through it, give y'all a little bit of something, but big shout out to Zach Martin. Man, it's been an honor rooting for you, having you a part of this organization, having you a part of America's team. Best luck to you, what you got into your future, man, but thank you for giving everything that you had. Cowboys, you had 22 free agents. Now you just have another hole that you have to basically make a solution for. So y'all already know what it is. The one-man force, the eyes and flavor of DFW Sports. DFW Sports Raps. Like, subscribe, hit that notification chime. Tomorrow we'll come at you with some basketball tip and some baseball tip before we get you for some hockey and some soccer tips. So, man, stay tuned, stay loving, man. I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in and everybody who's watching this on the playback. Go ahead and hit the like button, drop a comment. We'll give y'all a little bit more energy tomorrow. Let the meds kick in. Everybody take care of your mentals, take care of your health, because that's what's going to get us to a better place. But you know that until then, you know my slogan, do everything with love, because love always wins. And that's the law. With that, I'll see y'all tomorrow, 8:30, y'all. Peace.
Self-made independent, I'm all about my businesses. I consistently continue to bring energy and know that keep it popping like I'm full of electricity. Try to hold me out, I wish you would have the audacity. Take a rap laxative, now I'm shitting on the industry. Self-made not a title, cause it's my identity. And wear it on my skin like it's a part of my ethnicity. Mary keep on blowing like instruments in a symphony. That keep a player buzzing like Twitter when you mention me. Being 100's a everyday living tendency, and ain't faced by hating, it makes me increase my intensity.